What's up, nation? Today let's talk about the Nintendo Switch Pro coming in 2021. Alright everyone, so today I want to share a super exciting story that I found that is actually related to the likelihood of seeing a Nintendo Switch Pro released in early 2021, even as soon as April of 2021. And that is coming from 3 different gaming analysts that have actually released their predictions for 2021 on all the 3 different companies and the sales figures that they're expecting to see. Now, all 3 of these analysts agree that Nintendo will be the #1 highest console seller compared to even Sony and Microsoft with their new next-gen hardware. And they are also predicting that Nintendo will be releasing a revision to the Switch lineup that will most likely be the Switch Pro. So I want to talk about what features we can expect to see from that console and the likelihood of this happening and a timeline that I'm expecting it to happen. Now, before we do hop into all the details today, I just want to quickly invite you all to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy the content today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming and console news as we're in the new generation of gaming. And by the way, also doing that will enter you in my PS5 giveaway that I'm completing by the end of this January. So make sure you go ahead and do that now. But with that, guys, let's dive into the details. So all throughout the second half of last year, we saw the rumors ramp up heavily that Nintendo would be doing something to revise their current Switch model and that this would most likely be a Switch Pro. We had previously, back in the day, about a year ago, seen Nintendo actually have investors meetings that hinted to 3 different Switch models, one of which being a light handheld, which we have since seen come out and hit the market and is doing very well, and then one that we have not yet seen, which would be a Pro model of the current Nintendo Switch. Now, I think it makes the most sense to do this in the year of 2021 because we already have the new console generations from both Sony and Microsoft, and having something that can keep up in terms of resolution and decent frame rates on 4K games would absolutely be key for Nintendo to continue to offer this wide library of third-party support that they have actually been more successful in securing on the Switch than they have been on previous platforms. So I do think that this makes a lot of sense, but I want to first read through the article, then share my takeaways and opinions and kind of the feature set of what we can expect this Nintendo Switch Pro to offer. But this article does kind of outline why we think it's now most likely to happen as soon as April 2021, according to 3 different established gaming analysts that are predicting this for this year. Multiple analysts have forecasted that Nintendo Switch will be the best-selling console of 2021. Offering predictions for the year ahead in a Games.biz industry article published on Monday, 3 industry observers suggested Nintendo's near 4-year-old platform will outsell Sony and Microsoft's latest consoles, which have been supply constrained since launching in November of 2020. 2 of the analysts, Piers Harding-Rolls and Catan Games' Dr. Sakan Toto, also forecast a new Switch model will help drive strong sales for Nintendo's system this year. I expect Nintendo's Switch family of devices to be the best-selling consoles again in 2021 following a very strong 2020, said Harding-Rolls. Last year, I was unconvinced there would be a new flagship model of the Switch in 2020, but it makes more commercial sense to release an updated version in 2021. I currently have an updated version of the Switch in my forecast for 2021. Harding-Rolls expects Switch to sell 24 million units this year and combined PS5 and Xbox Series X/X sales to hit 25 million. Catan Games' Toto predicts Nintendo will launch a beefed-up 4K Switch model during its next financial year, which begins in April of 2021. Everybody expecting the Switch to run out of steam in 2021 is in for a bitter disappointment, he said. The Switch will be the best-selling console this year, as well as driven by more first-party games, a hardware refresh, and the device having developed into a lifestyle product for the mass market over the course of 2020. Multiple outlets have reported that Nintendo is preparing to launch new Switch hardware in early 2021 and that it might feature upgraded computing power and support 4K graphics. So obviously the analyst predicting this does not confirm it to be a thing from Nintendo themselves, but Nintendo will not tell us that they're working on a new console whenever you may be wanting to go out and buy the regular Switch. We probably won't hear about the Switch Pro until about 6 to 8 weeks before it's actually going to be released and ready for sale. So it does make a lot of sense that we may see the hardware revision come this year in the 4th year of the Nintendo Switch's life cycle so far. It's been incredibly successful, but it's also starting to show its age on certain titles. titles. I'll even use Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity as an example of that. The frame rate absolutely stutters when there's a lot of stuff going on the screen, and I think, you know, historically we've seen Nintendo offer things like this, like the new 3DS and different upgrades that were available, that they clearly ran the games better. It didn't mean you couldn't play those same games on the previous version of the hardware, but if you want the best experience, it's something that it might be worth to upgrade to whatever their new line is. And this may be called new Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch Pro. That's all speculation at this point, but I think as far as features that we can expect to see, it's at least 4K while docked in and being played on a TV. It's probably going to be capable of running games, you know, no less than 30 frames per second with no dips when running in 4K, and hopefully, you know, just possibly maybe hitting 60 frames per second on 4K resolutions. Now, they'll probably do some kind of dynamic upscaling to make that thing work, but I do think that that's totally possible. The other thing that we know about is that Nintendo was actually talking to different screen manufacturers about potentially refreshing the screen for the Nintendo Switch, and I think that's the other thing that has to happen, because when playing in handheld mode, the 720p screen just doesn't cut it in today's day and age, and they need to upgrade that at least to 1080p, and hopefully they take away some of the bezels around the screen to make it closer to a 7 or 7.5 inch display on a Switch Pro, which I think would look very nice. But I would love to know your guys' thoughts on what features you're going to expect, or if you think this is all hype and Nintendo's just going to continue to, you know, plow forward with an already great selling console, which I do think they can do. But when we talk about third-party games and we talk about, you know, things like Doom Eternal running on the Switch, like, that's really impressive they were able to pull that off. But, you know, how much longer are they going to be able to do that with PS5 titles and with Xbox Series X titles? I think the Pro kind of gives them an option to maybe have games, you know, run at a nice resolution that's going to look great, and then maybe they still offer those games on the original Switch, but you kind of know that you're not getting the full experience by not being upgraded to the Pro model. So I think it makes total sense that we see this thing. My personal prediction is that we do see it as soon as April to May, maybe as late as June, but I don't think we go too much further than that before Nintendo does come up and make a statement and make this official. But there is a bunch of exciting stuff that's going to be happening for Nintendo in the year of 2021. Obviously, we have Breath of the Wild 2 and just Zelda's 35th anniversary, Metroid's 35th anniversary to all look forward to this year. So I think we're going to see a killer lineup of Nintendo Switch games, and I think it makes a lot of sense when you have all those blockbuster hits coming out to release new hardware to go along with it. But share your guys' thoughts on that in the comments down below on what you're predicting personally as far as the Switch Pro goes in 2021. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all to leave me a comment and share with me your opinions and thoughts on the feature set that we will see on the Switch Pro, and if you think it's likely to come out in 2021 or not. And before we do end the video today, I just want to quickly invite everybody one more time to join Sunbro Nation. If you haven't done so already, do so by subscribing below. Hit the like button on your way out on this video if you enjoyed the content today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming and console news as we're in the new generation of gaming. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.